Has the U.S. dollar lost too much value? Joining us now to explain, financial expert Chase Wilsey from Wilsey Asset Management. Good morning.
Good morning.
Has it?
Has it? You know, the headlines, a lot of times people are so worried, it makes you almost believe the U.S. dollar has lost like 50% of its value. And I think some people might be saying, well, the dollar is worth a dollar, right?
No.
But the thing you have to understand is it fluctuates every minute, every second, every day, essentially, against other currencies across the world. So one thing I like to look at is something called the US dollar index, and that's going to compare it to the other major currencies. And what I look at is since the beginning of last year, so January 2025, the US dollar index is down about 10%. Again, not the 50% or anything crazy like that, but it is down. But if I look over the last 5 years, the U.S. dollar index, it's still up 7%. So it's not as bad, I think, as some people are making it.
So then what does it mean if it's just down 10%? Is that a bad thing?
Again, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just you're going to have weakening and appreciation of the dollar against other currencies. I think we had a period of time, gosh, I remember being on here a couple of years ago, and oh, the U.S. dollar just keeps strengthening. Well, now it is weakening a little bit. I think it's just a normal cycle that we're kind of in right now. Nothing that I'm overly concerned about.
For those that may not understand what these terms mean, to have like a strong dollar and a weak dollar, what does that mean to like the average person's pocketbook and what that feels like?
Yeah, and so there's going to be pros and cons to a strong and a weak dollar as well. With a strong dollar, well, it makes it easier to travel overseas, right? You can go to Europe and you can maybe buy more goods, get a hotel for cheaper, we'll call it, because that dollar goes further. Now, when the dollar is weaker, on the other hand, well, now it makes it more expensive to travel overseas. But what it does on the other side of the coin is now it makes it less expensive for people maybe in Europe or other parts of the world to then travel to the United States. So that's kind of why many times I think that you're going to have these cycles with the currency, because it's going to have this push and take. And then I think we're going to have a little bit more maybe international travel coming to the U.S. that is going to help stabilize that dollar.
How does this impact the value as far as like silver goes or gold?
The big thing that I've seen over the last year is, again, there's been this concept that we call the debasement trade. And what that is that's worries over the U.S. dollar being a reserve currency. So people have been really pushing the gold and silver. So it's called, again, that debasement trade. To me, I think a lot of that has been overdone. If we have a firmer dollar and a stabilizing dollar, which I think is going to be quite likely as we exit 2026, I think you could see some pressure on gold and silver, again, due to a little bit more stability in the U.S. dollar.
I feel like we're like in a dollar 101 class right now. So then let's talk about the term, if defaulting on a dollar. What does that mean, and is that even likely to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, the default on the U.S. dollar would essentially mean that the world stops using the U.S. dollar. I think that's just extremely unlikely. We do have a very good economy here still in the United States. You know, as many times people don't want to believe it, we still have one of the best systems, if not the best system in the world. So I do believe that a default on the U.S. dollar is extremely, extremely unlikely.
All right, so then roll out, so it'll be 2 months now into 2026. What do you think is going to happen over the next few months?
Again, I think as we go over the next few months, I think you are going to maybe see more money coming to the United States. We know that there were trade deals made last year. We could finally start to see those come to fruition, start to have money flowing back into the United States. As I mentioned, international tourism, that was down a lot last year. I think that was maybe political boycotts from other people. I believe political boycotts don't last forever. I think we could see a bottoming in international travel. So I do believe we could see, again, a firming, if not strengthening U.S. dollar as we progress through this year.
Amazing. Chase, always good to see you.
Thanks for having me.